What if I told you the most famous award in Hollywood was originally created to crush workers' rights? That the first Best Actor winner wasn't even human. He was a German Shepherd? And for decades, winners were announced months before the ceremony. So when they walked on stage, their surprise was completely fake. This is the strange, scandalous, and untold history of the Oscars. The gold statue you see every year? It was never really about art. It was about power. And to understand how we got here, we have to go back to a man you've probably never heard of, Louis B. Mayer. To understand the Oscars, you have to understand Louis B. Mayer. He ran MGM, the biggest, most powerful studio in the world, but Mayer had a problem. In the 1920s, Hollywood was exploding. Workers were starting to form unions. Actors wanted better pay. Directors wanted creative control. Mayer saw this as chaos. So, in January 1927, he invited a small group of Hollywood elites to a private dinner at his home. His pitch was brilliant. Let's form an academy. A club for the most powerful people in film. It would look like we're celebrating cinema, but secretly, it would give us a way to control labor disputes before they ever reached the press. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences was born as a union-busting tactic. The first Academy Awards wasn't a glitzy telecast. It was a private dinner at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Tickets cost $5. About 270 people showed up. And here's the kicker. The winners had already been announced 3 months earlier. There was no suspense, no surprise. It was a rubber stamp ceremony designed to make the industry look good. The big winner that night was Wings, a silent war film. But the real drama happened in the Best Actor category. The ballots were counted, and the winner was a dog. Rin Tin Tin, the famous German Shepherd, had received the most votes. The Academy panicked. They couldn't give their brand new prestigious award to a dog. So they changed the rules, gave the award to the human runner-up, and quietly hoped no one would notice. But the dog's legacy lives on. For the first few years, the statue didn't have a name. It was just the Gold Guy. Then, in 1931, a librarian named Margaret Herrick started working at the Academy. She saw the statue on a table and joked that it looked like her uncle Oscar. Her uncle was a real person, Oscar Pierce, a wheat farmer from Texas. The name spread through the office, then to Hollywood columnists, and by 1934, it appeared in print. The Academy hated the nickname at first. They thought it was undignified. But the public loved it, and by 1939, even the Academy gave up and made it official. So, the most famous award in the world is named after a random librarian's uncle who grew wheat. Not exactly the glamorous origin story you'd expect. For decades, the Oscars remained an industry event. But in 1953, everything changed. NBC broadcast the ceremony live for the first time. Suddenly, millions of Americans could watch Hollywood's elite in their natural habitat. The ratings exploded. And with that, the Oscars transformed from a stuffy dinner into a global spectacle.
Look right here, sweetie. One more.
Oh, you are all too wonderful.
This is when the red carpet became sacred. This is when gowns and tuxedos became national talking points. And this is when the surprise element had to become real. In 1941, the Academy had finally switched to the sealed envelope system because the Los Angeles Times had once published the winners early, ruining the suspense for everyone. Television forced the Oscars to become the dramatic, unpredictable show we know today. The 1960s brought cultural change to the Oscars stage. In 1964, Sidney Poitier became the first black man to win the Best Actor award for Lilies of the Field. It was a monumental moment, but it also highlighted how far Hollywood still had to go. Poitier had been a star for years, yet the industry had never honored a black leading man before. That same decade, in 1969, something unprecedented happened. A tie. Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn both received exactly the same number of votes for Best Actress. It was the first tie in a major category, and it's only happened a handful of times since. Streisand, in her iconic see-through sequined pantsuit, famously held up her Oscar and said, "Hello, gorgeous," a moment of pure, unscripted Hollywood magic. If you think the Oscars are political now, you should have seen 1973. Marlon Brando was set to win Best Actor for The Godfather. Everyone knew it. But Brando was furious about how Hollywood portrayed Native Americans, so he boycotted the ceremony and sent a woman named Sachi Littlefeather in his place. When his name was called, she walked on stage in full Apache regalia, refused the Oscar, and delivered a 15-minute speech about the mistreatment of Native Americans in film. The audience was stunned. Some booed, others cheered. Backstage, John Wayne reportedly had to be physically restrained from dragging her off stage. It was the moment the Oscars stopped being just about movies and became a platform for protest. And it changed everything. The 1990s and 2000s brought new challenges. Blockbusters like Titanic and The Lord of the Rings dominated, but critics argued the Oscars were out of touch with popular taste. In response, the Academy added new categories. In 2002, the first Best Animated Feature Oscar went to Shrek, a movie about an ogre beating out traditional animated films. It was a sign that the Oscars were trying to evolve. But the biggest change has been globalization. For decades, the Academy was mostly old, white, and male. Recently, they've invited thousands of new members from around the world, different races, genders, and nationalities. The voters today look nothing like the voters in 1929, and that means the movies that win today reflect a much wider, more complex world. So why do we still care about the Oscars? After all the scandals, the snubs, the political speeches, and the occasional dog-winning Best Actor. Because the Oscars are more than an awards show. They're a time capsule. Every winner, every dress, every speech captures a moment in history. From a 1927 union-busting dinner party to a global broadcast watched by millions, the Oscars have survived because they reflect who we are and who we want to be. The statue may be gold, but its real value is in the stories it represents. And as long as we keep telling stories, we'll keep asking that question. And the Oscar goes to, from a private dinner of 270 people to a global phenomenon watched by millions, the Oscars have mirrored the evolution of cinema itself. It has survived scandals, celebrated triumphs, and adapted to a changing world. The statue may still look the same, but what it represents, excellence in filmmaking, is constantly being redefined by new voices, new technologies, and new stories. While the debate over who was robbed and who deserved to win will rage on forever, one thing is certain. As long as movies are made, we will always want to gather, celebrate, and ask the question, who will take home the gold?